everyone, and welcome to TFYLP After Hours, episode number 16, I believe it is. I am your host, Duron Land, aka Weird Wolf. Along with me this afternoon is Lucas Bockelman.
Hey.
And Christian Russell.
Hello.
Hola. So, what be happening, you guys?
Not a whole lot. I'm just working, so I decided to take a little lunch break so that I could record an after hour. So, just hanging out here with my buddy.
Yeah, everybody's getting theirs, and I'm sitting here like...
Yeah, but if you have Phoenix, I'm sure that, you know...
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, I do want that one because it's the best looking and the most accurate official Skyfire we've ever gotten. But
official whom?
Skyfire. It's not Jetfire. It's Skyfire.
It's Jetfire, bro.
No.
Mine is Jetfire. I have the armor on him, so he's definitely Jetfire.
But yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, I'm just happy to have these guys, the little Micromasters, and I went on Amazon the other night and they had them, so I got the Tyraxodon and whatever the hell this guy's name is, I can't remember.
Smashdown.
Smashdown. Okay. Tyraxodon's actually kind of cool though. I like it. I mean, you got the gun, and then you can have like the pickaxe, and then yeah.
Can't wait for his buddy Pterodactyl, right? That's the other one.
Pterodactyl.
That's the one that comes with Skyward.
Oh gosh. So I assume this is like the Autobot version, and then the other one's
Yep.
the Decepticon version. Okay.
Correct.
Well, this is got dark colors. I wonder why. Oh, never mind. What's that, Lucas?
Oh, I was just going to say, I like these a lot more than the earlier Target Masters that they came out with. And I think the reason is because these are unique. And so, like, the first ones that came out, like, they were doing some ones that were very similar to the Takara ones. And so I already had those, and they had better paint and articulate, more parts count, all that. And so I was kind of, like, disappointed. But, like, this, I don't really have anything to compare it to. And I do think they're a little bit better than those older ones. So I actually, we haven't actually reviewed these yet, but I actually like these quite a bit more than the first Target Masters they released.
If I'm not mistaken, I think us reviewing that wave of Target Masters was the first time I was on Microcasters.
Was it?
Or very close to it.
We'll have to go back, re-roll the tape.
I think it was those, and then you guys wanted to keep me around to do Legend stuff, even though I don't have Legend stuff, so I was there.
I've got like 6 episodes I still need to download and upload to the server. I'm so far behind on crap, it's not even funny.
Do it! Microcasters is the best.
I know, but, depression.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I hate to, be on a down note here, but I know we all go through our problems and stuff, but the things I've been going through lately, the way my mind deals with depression, it just starts sinking in, and I find myself just sitting, not doing anything. It's like the other day, I literally sat in my living room for like 4 hours. TV was off. I'm just sitting there. I'm emotionally at a standstill, physically at a standstill. I can't do anything. I don't want to do anything, and it's hard to get by that. I went to the collectors meetup the other day, and that's where I got these Micromasters from local plastic crack dealer Orson, it even though I was there, I didn't want to be around people, if that makes any sense. And hopefully, I'll get out of that more. And it did help to be around some of my buds, as the day went on, I was able to sit and talk with them, and it's amazing how therapeutic it is just to sit and talk with friends about stuff that really doesn't amount to a hill of beans in the grand scheme of life, which is toys, but we're all here for a reason,
I mean, I think though, I mean, toys and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's an escape for a lot of us. So I think that's. I mean, just to be able to get your mind off of things and whatever your troubles may be, and being able to just kind of get together with friends you haven't seen in a little bit. I mean, I think is, just kind of helps you out.
Yeah, I mean, it took me almost a month. I've been in this apartment about a month and 2 weeks now. Well, a month and a half, might as well say. And last night, I just emptied the final black tote that all my collection was packed up in. And
Yeah, I saw your pictures of that. It looks great.
it does. And I got to give Orson props because that was his kind of housewarming gift to me. He hooked me up with some LED lights installed in my detolfs, and they look flipping amazing. If
They look really good.
if you haven't seen them, check. I uploaded a video to the TFYLP Facebook group, and it's matter of fact, maybe I can screen share this shit right here. Hold on.
Screen share.
Screen share. Screen share.
You could like walk over there.
Well, I can't because it's like in there. My collection's nowhere near the computer, so unfortunately.
Oh right, you don't use a phone and can't just walk places.
No. Where is? There it is. I'm trying to pull it up here. Yeah. Screen share. Okay. Yeah, this is the a little walkthrough video I did. I put my Expedites one on top of the other and kind of put my box stuff in it, and then as you can see the newly lit LEDs, and then I put all my like Titans and my giant combiners on the tops of the detol, so they're not taking up room actually in the shelves, and that helps.
That's what I do.
That helps. I don't like the fact that they'll get super dusty that way, because I'm kind of anal about that, but it really can't.
It's the way to go. Titans might have sat on top for years now.
Yeah, so.
I think details are, to me, I feel like that they can be like good or bad with displays, just depending on how you do them. Is that the thing that's tough about detox is they have a set amount of space. And so, like depending on what characters you're putting in there, like if they don't fit quite right, you may not be able to like fit them in there. And then like you were saying too, that like there's a lot of space up above, but I think that if you do put the combiners up above, assuming that you've protected them against doing like a shelf dive, I think that's actually not a bad spot for them.
that's another big fear of mine too, is because the floor is actually concrete with linoleum, with that linoleum vinyl cover over it. So yeah, if they hit, they're gonna go.
Yeah, because that happened to me on my shelf. I had the Solichijoken Voltron on top of the shelf, and my youngest accidentally bumped into the shelf and knocked him over. And he took like a 7-foot dive and did not make it. So I am going to be getting a new Solichijoken Voltron when they re-release it here because I could not save him.
Yeah, I mean I've got them pretty well balanced up there, and I'm not really afraid of them tipping over because again I'm on the ground floor of this building, so there's like it's not like I'm on a wobbly surface, and all the shelving is like good and stable. You
may think it's stable, and then like 4 weeks later, when you've done nothing, not even opened that cabinet in that time, your Kronos may just decide that he wants to die and then fall onto the ground.
Well,
I still have 2 random red panels. I have no idea what they go to.
Wow. I do have a casualty from the move, though. My TFC Hades, which I have for sale.
You had for what?
I have for sale.
For sale?
For sales, yeah. One of the wings on the back of the Leozak portion of it, They're on like these little ball joints, and one of them snapped off like right at the base of the ball joint.
Well, that's rude.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I was quite upset about that yesterday. So I'm hoping that I can use a little trusty super glue here and fix it, but I'm going to get a little less than what I was expecting out of it. You know, I was wanting at least 300 after shipping, so I don't know if I'll get that now.
Well, speaking of glue, Lucas was learning not to use glue today, right, Lucas?
Well, no, that wasn't today. This was actually earlier. So the Magic Square Light of Justice, the little Legends guy.
Oh,
So it was
I know what you're
annoying the
talking
heck
about.
out of me about how his smokestack like won't stay in, right? And so I was like, well, you know what? Like, I like these one smokestacks. I'm just gonna glue them in, right? Well, I used a little too much super glue, and on the bottom, like the rotational joint or whatever, right? Like, if you glue to that rotational joint, his arm will then no longer be able to rotate,
And he can't transform.
and he can't transform. So I managed to now I have a Light of Justice that is only in bot mode, because I cannot get him to the other mode. So yeah. So now I got a new one, and I am just going to use some future on it to try to make it. But that's my biggest complaint about that figure is it annoys me that these smokestacks pop out. But I mean, otherwise the figure is amazing. But
Oh, they're on Bobby Skullface's teaser for his review of it. I posted on there. I said I love the figure, but I hate those GD smokestacks. You know, and then somebody commented, "It's like, oh, you just have to put them in there flush, and they stay in rather well." I'm like, do you actually have this toy? Because no, they don't. I sat there for 30 minutes one day, the day I got it, just trying to put them in a way that they would stay in, and at best you can just get them to slide in and
30 minutes trying to put teeny tiny pieces into a Legends figure. That sounds like my hell.
Yeah.
So,
but other than that, he's great. I mean, he's like he's a lot of freedom, just basically shrunk down.
yeah, he's by far the best Optimus so far. It's just that one thing. So,
but yeah, I mean, but you know, going back to my display, so it took me about a month and a half to finally get everything unpacked and put into the displays. I still have a few random figures, you know, maybe there's probably 20 or 30 figures. Most of them are Legends. I don't know where I want to put them at yet, so they're still sitting on a table that I have there, but once I figure out where I want to put those. But a large portion of that, you know, a week of that was Orson waiting to get the parts in. He told me don't put anything in the cases until we get the parts in. So I literally, the room that I had it all in was like a pile of boxes and totes in my display cases.
Yep, been there. You guys saw it, you know, when Christmas time when I was putting my lights in, that it was like that for like months.
Yeah.
Because that guy I wanted to do it never did it, so I just did it myself, and it looks great. But yeah, a month after a move, that seems about average to me.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, whenever I moved into the house that I was living in before, I had my displays up and full within a week.
But
Look
at you, Mr. Professional.
Well, I think a large portion of that too was I had people helping me unpack too, and now this time it was just little old me. So yeah, that.
Hashtag bachelor life.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, I openly admit that I've got bad depression issues right now, and I apologize for everybody that it's affecting, because you know, audio versions of the show isn't getting done, and I'm thankful that I'm even able. I think I'm coming out of it because I'm here doing this right now, and that helps. But it's I still have some issues with it, and um, you know, and it's going to take time. And I just ask people to bear with me, and you know, it's one of those things where you you just can't help it. You know, your mind is one of those things that it's hard to understand, um, and you know, I'm getting better at doing me right now, and that's the best. That's the best thing. And once I get a grip of what's going on with me, um, everything else will fall into place. I know that. I've done it before. This isn't my first rodeo, but it doesn't make it any easier. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the big thing is you know, there's times you just have to focus on you. You know, it's not like, you know, don't worry about that. You know, other things will be there. I mean, as long as you're there for yourself, and you're, you know, scraping by, and you're still, you know, you're still getting all your commitments done that you can. You know, things happen. I don't know. I mean, I know I was like that. Like when my dad died, I thought I was going to be okay, and literally I had to take a week off of work because I couldn't function. I was the exact same way as what you're talking about, where I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just turned my phone, my Facebook off, like everything off for like a week. And everybody wanted to reach out to me and be like, "Hey, I'll help you out," and all that. And you're like, "No, no, man. Like I just want to chill and take some time off." So you know, I totally understand where you're coming from, and it's okay to do this every once in a while, and all that, and that's why we're all here for you to, you know, try to help out. And
I mean,
everything.
and it's very well appreciated. And everybody that has reached out to me, whether via messenger or actually dropping by, it's a lot of those is like we want you to know we care and everything. And it's never that the fact that I didn't think any of you guys cared, or any of my inner circle cared. It's just that on a personal level, you know, it's like, and without getting too far into it, you have a certain plan for your own life and the way you want to be and the way you want to live your life, and the fact that sometimes you feel like there's no right now I feel like there's no control over my life. I feel like that I don't have any control over my life. No matter how hard I try, no matter what I do, I feel like that I am just going where the wind blows me, and that frustrates the hell out of me. And and I've had people say, you know, you'll get through it soon, or they'll ask me, you know, snap out of it, just come back and get your mind on those things. I'm like, it don't work that way. And I hate to say that, and I'm not trying to be a dick. It just don't work that way. I can't just get up one day and say, "Oh, everything's great now," and I don't feel this way. But it don't work that way. I do have days that I get up and I feel good, and I'll have a good day. You know, I'll have a lot of fun. I'll do things around the house. Or the apartment here, and then there'll be days that I get up, or I don't even get up. Literally the other day when I went to work, I stayed in bed all day, didn't turn a light on in the entire apartment, and didn't until I got up to go to work. And you know, and everybody says, "Well, that's not good." Well, that's the way it is, you know. But it does help to know that you guys care, and that I have people that care. You know, and that if I need you guys to talk to you guys, you're right there, and it helps. But there's certain things that you guys just can't help me with, quite frankly, and it's only I can do that. And there's no timetable on it. You know, you can't rush your way through it. You can't force your way through it. It's just got to happen whenever you're emotions in your mind allows you to do it. I'm rambling here. Let's change subjects. So what you think of Red Wing?
His color is really excellent. I don't know where he's coming out after Target, or if he's like really a Target exclusive, but he's pretty great.
I wanted one, but it's one of those things where it's like I want versus need, and you're like,
yeah,
murky he is.
That's a tough thing. Well, I tell you what, Duron, if you have another color that you're looking for those, I don't know if you saw, but Dane Chalk has this whole list of rumored releases, and one of them is all of the Rainmakers. Yeah. So there's like a list of like the Sunstorm and what is it, Ion Storm, and
probably would get Sunstorm,
Acid Storm.
It's Acid Storm, Nova Storm, and Ion Storm.
Okay.
What about Hotlink?
Hotlink is not a Rainmaker.
But he's a Seeker.
He is a Seeker. You're right. He's not a Rainmaker.
But
so he's not the Rainmaker.
Something about an all purple jet would just be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to see a purple one too.
Yeah, when Lucas was talking to me about it today, he's like, "Oh, where's the purple one?" I was like, "Well, the purple one's not a Rainmaker, Lucas."
Sorry, jeez.
It's
like, all right, noob.
Incidentally, have you guys
exactly.
Have you guys noticed the Maki Toys for their Hot Link? I can't remember what it's
I did see it.
It's like a crowdfunded thing. It's just
like they're doing another crowdfund for another freaking repaint after they took like what? How many months? How long did they take to get the last one out?
I think it's like 4 months overdue. It's a while.
Yeah, I mean, now we're not. It's not Moss Toys level or anything like that, but like, I mean, come on, like, I don't.
Yeah, in the climate that Moss Toys has left, being 4 months overdue on something is not something that makes it rewarded.
Like, I just feel like they are 4 months overdue. People like have gotten them and are complaining a little bit about QC and whatever, right? And then like right away, they're like, "Hey, guess what?" Like
right away. Like, it didn't even wait for everyone to get there. It's like right away, it's up. It's like, ooh,
right. And I don't know. Like, honestly, I'm not sure behind the scenes. Like, you know, what repaints are they doing? Like, I don't even know if they are doing anything for TFCon Toronto.
I kind of want one.
Find out like today.
I kind of want one, but go ahead.
What'd you say, Christian?
I mean, if they are, we should find out like today because TFCon's on Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want one, but at the same time, you know, I also don't understand why do you need a crowdfund for a mold that already exists. But at the same time, they only make as many as put in for the crowdfund, so that makes them super limited. You know.
The thing I don't understand is that. And again, like, I don't know all the behind the scenes about, you know, conventions and whatever, right? But why not just offer it? Like, I think MMC, the way that they do it is perfect because they do all these cool looking repaints as a convention exclusive. But then in their store, they go and they put up and anyone can, like, until they sell out of the stock, like anyone can go and buy it off of their exclusive store in addition to the convention. But at least that way it's not being crowdfunded ahead of time. Like, you know, and again, I don't know how, because I'm assuming they work with retailers to get the exclusive. So maybe it was something that they offered to, you know, whoever and to Chosen Prime or, you know, ages 3 and up or whatever, and they passed on it. I don't know, but it just, I don't know. I just feel like doing another crowdfund like right now was in poor taste.
I mean, I see your point, but at the same time, it's I like the colors of it. I kind of want it, but right now I just don't have the money. And maybe in another month or two I will. because it's like a month and a half, I think, is what's left on it, and they've only done like 50, sold like 57 the last time I looked, out of 500. So, which is
It does come with that cool flamethrower weapon,
Yeah.
which is kind of neat.
yeah. So I know third-party toys are expensive to make. I mean, I heard something said one time that a third-party toy, like the mold, costs like $100,000 to have made. I don't know the truth of that. It's a he tell me type thing, but you know, seeing as how they're like limited production, I don't see how a lot of these third-party companies actually make money on these molds, if any. I know Fans Toys is like a passion project. I mean, that's been well known for many years, and they do so well with their toys. But I just don't understand how some of these companies, quote unquote, can keep going if the molds are that damn expensive.
I think Seekers are a hard sell right now because of this guy. Not Red Wing specifically, but this mold is so good, and I don't like it more than the classic Seeker, but you know it's good. And we got this obscure thing before even Thundercracker and Skywarp came out. And we got the Rainmakers pack that's rumored. If they're doing obscure decos and something that's this good, why do you need masterpiece versions of them? Because they're coming.
Well, I actually somewhat disagree with that because I just feel like I mean, there's people like you and me, Christian, that, you know, yeah, like we kind of prefer that chug stuff and whatever. But I think a lot of people are just, you know, masterpiece or bust. So I don't think that those are impacted as much. However, I do really think that all the chug stuff, because this is for me too, is I feel like MMC and Make Toys are shaking and Planet X or whatever are freaking out right now because I bet they have a ton of molds done that like they're trying to sell for $120 a pop, and like Hasbro's sitting here releasing the same stuff for $30. And yeah, it's not as good, you know, as the like the $120 stuff is better, right? But is it 4 times in price better?
Are you looking at Ratchet and Ironhide specifically?
Right. I mean, that's a great example. Ratchet and Ironhide or whatever. Like, I honestly kind of like the way that the Hasbro one looks better than Planet X. And so I'm not going to get it. Like, before, I would have, I mean, I've bought everything Planet X in the past. I bought everything Make Toys in the past. And now I'm kind of looking at my collection. I'm like, man, do I really need this stuff? Like, you know, like this Siege, I think I'd rather spend $80 on this than I would on a smaller, you know, Make Toys figure. So
I think Siege is the best money you can spend right now. I mean, it's been a long time since you could say that for a Hasbro line. And it never was like it's the worst money you could spend. Hasbro's never been the worst money you could spend. But for it to be actually the best, the front row to everybody, it's kind of unusual. And I like it. It's a good look.
Well, I think Hasbro, and we've said this before on the main show, and other podcasters have said it too. It's been said on the boards, but Hasbro really is having to step up their game because of these third parties. I mean, some of the third parties have really put out some amazing stuff over the last probably 5 years. I mean, they've stepped up their game. Hasbro has clearly stepped up their game. I mean, the Titan class itself is to combat these giant combiners that the third parties are putting out, and then you come along with Siege, and they're sturdier. There's less hollowness to them. The detail level that's molded in is amazing. You know, and the engineering is great, and great paint. Yeah, they're putting paint into these toys.
And it doesn't seem like it's more paint necessarily, but it's we talked about this on a review of Reflector last night. It's the right paint.
Like paint's in the right spots.
They're not just putting out a toy just to put out a toy. And for so many years, that's all they've done is really just put out a toy to have a toy out there. And
well, you know, and I would really be curious, like when Paul and I don't know if he what answer Warden would give at SDCC, but I'd love to have Paul ask that question: Is your target market shifting, and have the demographics shifted at all? Because I know in the past they've answered where that the collectors market or whatever is like, I don't know what X percent or whatever, 20% or something like that,
I think
right?
it was 20% 15 years ago, so I'd say it's a lot higher now.
Right. So that's what I'm wondering.
Pretty sure they told us it was like 5% at one point.
Yeah.
So the thing I'm wondering is now that they've gotten their surveys back more recently, are they finding that, okay, the target market for our stuff is not 10-year-olds. It turns out that it is actually people that are over 25. And so therefore, I mean, they're still making a line for kids, the Cyberverse, but I'm just wondering if I feel like before they were trying to target their line towards kids, and now they're targeting it towards either parents of kids that, with nostalgia, or just collectors in general.
Well, I know this is something else that's been said a lot, but you got kids these days aren't into toys. They're all into apps and games and virtual things. They don't play with toys as much anymore. I mean, I know there's fellow collectors out there that have kids, and a lot of them say, oh, well, they still play with toys. I'm not saying they don't play with toys, period. It's just that they don't play with them as much as, say, we did whenever we were kids. And also, I don't think they play with them as long. It's like they put the toys away younger and go to something more virtual, like, oh, let me have daddy's phone and play on the phone, play Candy Crush or something.
I think
so.
I think the action figure market, that's 100% correct. I think action figures are dead with kids. It's just, but I do think kids are into Legos. I mean, that's where I see, all the kids that are 8 to 10 or whatever. It's either the trading card game, like Pokemon, stuff like that, or it's Legos. Like, that's what my kids are into, and like the 10-year-olds and all that are into too. So I think that they are still into physical stuff. Like, and I 100% agree with you that, it's tablets, phones, video games, all that kind of stuff too. But I do think they still buy some of that stuff, but they're not buying action figures. I think like that is 100% dead.
Christian, you have any comment on that?
I'm just trying to think of any action figure line I've seen on shelves recently that looks like it's marketed towards children.
Besides Cyberverse.
Besides Cyberverse.
Yeah. It's
especially within Hasbro's own wheelhouse, you've got Marvel Legends and Black Series, which have stepped up their game to be more accurate, have better paint apps, better sculpting. They're re-releasing older figures that are expensive on the secondary market. It's a direct response to that. So I think Stage has joined those two.
Yeah, well, the Marvel Legends. When was the last time you went into a toy aisle where the Marvel Legends were and saw a child looking at and asking for a Marvel Legend? Usually, it's an older person. 20.
I go shopping in the dead of night, so I don't have to shop with anybody else. So I don't see anybody. I did get my Worthy cap though. Finally, that happened.
I hear a lot of people after that, and the fact that in the packaging it's not, you can't see the hammer unless you like tilt the box and look behind the shield. Why would they package it like that? I'll never understand.
It's a cool move by Hasbro because they weren't sure when it was coming out, so they didn't want to spoil the movie with the toy. That's a real move by Hasbro.
Hey guys, I gotta drop off for a couple minutes. I'll be right back.
Actually, I was going to go ahead and wrap it up real quick because we've gone 35 minutes and that's ample enough for the show, and we've saved more for the main show. Check out TFYLP Sundays at noon Eastern, and we are broadcasting live then. And as always, thank you for being a Patreon subscriber to TFYLP. Without you, we wouldn't be here today. So, thanks, everybody. Lucas, Christian, Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.
All right.